All right. Welcome in. Welcome back to BFR podcast presented by Sports Mockery and Fanatics. My name is Dave. I'm joined by my good friend, Ficky. And this is a fun one. This is our first ever Hard Knocks. The Bears, obviously, first time being on the show, but we're going to be recapping every single episode right after it airs. And this one was really fun. Episode 1 was pretty fun. To be honest, we have a lot of things we're going to get to, some really fun segments just for the show that we're going to kind of bring out every single week to kind of make it fun and interactive. So, again, before we jump into all that, check out the podcast, check out Sports Mockery. You can find all the information in the description. Ficky, first of all, I guess we'll start with episode 1. Overall thoughts on the episode before we jump into little segments here.
I mean, I thought overall it's great. Like, Hard Knocks knows what they're doing from like a cinematic standpoint, right? Like the videography is great. How they do their slow motion. Obviously, the camera quality is fantastic. They know how to script an episode. So like you're always engaged on different parts. And then they also like tie things back. So like they know what they're doing. And obviously this isn't their first Hard Knocks. Actually, it's not even their first Hard Knocks this year. So I expected that it'd be good. I'm just happy that we got, and we'll talk about it, but like there was a lot of Caleb focus on the first one, which I think really helps drive like the engagement. Because at the end of the day, it's a quarterback league. And everybody wants to see Caleb. There's other players we want to see, and they touched on them as well, and we'll talk about it. But like at the end of the day, we're here to see our rookie phenomenon quarterback, Caleb Williams. So I'm glad they got that in here. And Ryan has a great comment here. The Bulls intro with Caleb was incredible. I'm not a Bulls fan, but the Bulls fan the Bulls easily have the best intro music like all time. Like, that gets you hyped no matter what. So tying that with Caleb, the whole slow motion thing is beautiful.
That theme song is greatness. It's tied to it with Michael. Michael Jordan. They talked about Michael Jordan a little bit, I think, or at least alluded to him, because throwing that intro out there was phenomenal. So I want to go ahead and start, since we're talking about probably one of the best parts of the of the show. Episode 1. I think there's a lot of great things we can pick from here. So, Ficky, I'll start with you. What was your best part of the episode? And maybe we'll give a second if we feel like it. But what overall, I have mine in mind, but I want you to go first. Let's see if you take it.
I mean, it's a cop-out answer, but who doesn't love that whole Caleb intro? I mean, it's right from the jump. You got the Bulls intro, slow-mo Caleb walking out, and then you see him throwing like in slow motion. I don't know. I tweet off that one ball he threw, and I know it's one throw, so not trying to over-exaggerate here, but he threw that ball, and it was like a perfect spiral. Like, they picked a perfect clip of that. And then also, like, they didn't just show, like, oh, Caleb doing all this great stuff, right? I mean, they did, but they also showed, like, the vulnerability part right after he did the talent show, and he messed that up, which is hilarious, right? They showed him, like, going through, like, the struggles of being a rookie, trying to figure things out, and him, like, talking through things while they played the John Legend song in the background. So I would say that was my favorite.
So the intro,
yeah, it was probably the best part. What about you?
Yeah, I mean that one's really hard. I mean that was probably my favorite part of the episode as well. But honestly, there's two here, and they kind of go together. But I think I like seeing, and it was kind of leaked before. I think that it was a clip that the NFL actually posted on their accounts, was Nick Saban and Matt Eberflus. They go back all the way to Toledo. Obviously Saban coached Eberflus from this episode is what we learned, and a lot of us I think probably knew that as well. But I think just hearing them talk, and then also seeing Eberflus, ask questions such as, "Hey, how would you coach the quarterback? How would you coach Caleb Williams?" And to see Saban's answers, and then to see it in action, because, he's like, "Hey, I always stand behind the quarterback." And then it transitions to Flus behind the quarterback of Caleb Williams, getting in his ear. And I thought it was a really cool point when Saban said, "I never critique a quarterback in front of the team, really. It's always like, hey, one-on-one." And I just thought that entire clip or section of the episode was it's kind of eye-opening. There were so many to choose from, but I think that, because it's such an important, Eberflus knows he has to get this right.
100%.
And I thought that was really cool to bring Saban in, not just for Caleb, but for the entire team. I thought that was cool. And then also, same thing, Shane Waldron coaching up Caleb. So I think coaching Caleb and seeing both, Eberflus and Shane, put those two together. I thought that clip of him in the training room along with Shane just critiquing film on training camp, which is kind of cool. You know, you go to these camps and they are filming, right? Not just Hard Knocks, but the team is. They're learning from it, obviously. So I think overall, just the coaching Caleb part was really cool to see because they have to get it right. And so Eberflus even mentioned later on the show when they had that one-on-one, Ficky, which I
was about to talk about that.
There's so many best parts, right?
Yeah,
so we might need to go through here and have maybe two. So I guess I'll round it back up with that one-on-one with Caleb, seeing coach and him just talk nonchalantly about, I got to do this better. Caleb even admitting, hey, my accuracy, it can always get better. Just seeing these two, because that relationship it's going to be make or break. We're either going to be, 5 years down the road, they're still going to be together, or we're going to learn right away in about a year or two if there's going to be, if they're going to be part ways and Flus is not going to be the coach because Caleb's going to be here no matter what. So overall, I guess it's a cop-out answer because I think just the ability to hone in on Caleb and even the relationship with Flus.
That's where I was going to go.
Really cool to see.
I was going to say the honorable, excuse me. I was going to say the honorable mention for me was the relationship between Flus and Caleb. Now, some of that you got to take not necessarily a grain of salt, but they haven't really been met with a lot of adversity at the moment, right? They haven't lost a game they're supposed to win. Caleb hasn't had a horrible game, so that's when we'll really see like how strong the relationship is. The good thing though about this is that at least we know with Flus and his relationship with other players on the team, he's already shown that because his first 2 seasons have been nothing but adversity, right? There has not been a lot of positivity with this team in the first 2 years, and he was able to hold the team together. I don't know if you noticed, and again, they might just be the clips that they pick, but every time a player is interacting with Flus, it seems like, especially like in the beginning of practice, they're stretching and all that, it seems like they really fuck with the guy. They really enjoy him, you know what I mean? So that is nice to know because just like players with Nick Saban, if you listen to a lot of players that went to Alabama, like sure, he may have been hard and things like that, but they all respect him and look what it led to. So tying back to your point, I think that's huge. Flus is tied to Caleb, learning from a great on how to do that. Someone who's your mentor, your previous coach. Hopefully he's taking some learnings from that, which will help Caleb have a faster start out the gate and then hopefully lead to some success. Because at the end of the day, Caleb's going to be here, right? Caleb
at least
is going to be here. Flus
3 to 4 years.
Yeah, Flus, you're like, I don't know. Depends how it goes. So he's really got to make the most of this.
Yeah. No, I think I think that was obviously always going to be a focal point, just seeing the interaction between Caleb, his teammates, of course, the coaching staff. So overall, I think they killed it, during the first episode. Ficky, did you already give your second one? I know you kind of, so you're talking about.
I kind of doubled down. I
like that one.
So it's fine.
Let me go through my notes here because
we'll give another. Before we go, we do have a super chat here from Gustavo Gutierrez. Let me know if I messed it up, but thank you, Gustavo. $2 on YouTube. He said, "I'm bricked up, brothers. Holy shit." I mean, look, that's funny. I think one of all of us were ready for this.
One of my favorite tweets. First of all, thank you.
Thank you, Gustavo.
Appreciate it because I think all of Chicago is, but Sadiq from Next Wave Bears, he tweeted, he said that all of Chicago, like Bears Twitter, is treating this like, game one, essentially, like
it is for us
of the season. And it really is. And I think that's going to be for every episode that drops. It was cool. And I was a little concerned. I was like, is this going to be a 30-minute episode? Because the Giant episodes, right, Ficky, are typically 30-minute, 35?
So they were like more like 45-ish. And then the last one, so the first episode for the Giants, I think was like a full hour, which was great. But like the other 3 after that were more like 40-ish minutes. And then the last one, which was the draft, was the shortest. It was like 30 minutes. So seeing that it was an hour off the overall, gate, that's the first thing I looked at. I was like, 4
minutes. I was like, yeah, exactly. And I'm making my wife watch this with me. And she loves the Bears for the most part, but she's not like diehard, I guess you could say. Right. Anyways, I said, you're watching every single episode, every single minute. And shout out to her for, sticking with it. She was actually, I don't know what her favorite part is, but she did, I guess I'll bring up the Austin Reed and his family being there, in the stands, being able to see, because me and you, Fick, and right, I think Jack was here, shout out to Jack, his background right here, our producer, but we were like, all right, let's get this game over with, right? Let's call it. But then you don't see behind the scenes where this family's traveled, right? You get Austin Reed, who's trying to make a name for himself, undrafted guy. it's those things that this series is going to reveal. It's going to touch your heart a little bit, because it's like, God damn, you want to see these guys at least succeed a little bit. Okay, Siri. All right, Siri's trying to give her 2 cents on the episode here. But
but you make a good point though, like, because a lot of these people are fighting for their careers. Like I know from a fan perspective, preseason isn't fun, and we both said that. But like, there's people literally that might be their last NFL game that they ever play. So like, having that perspective, right, I think might make me want to tune in a little bit more. And then also, which they talked about on the show, this would be an honorable mention too, is like Colin Johnson and how well he played, right? So now you have someone where you're looking at like, okay, this guy's been in the league for a minute, right? Maybe this is his chance to fully solidify himself on an NFL roster, whether that be with us or because, just because you don't make it with us doesn't mean another team's not looking at your tape in the preseason and picking you up. So we do love those storylines. And I feel like we're going to Hard Knocks, because they typically do, they're going to find a couple of them, especially based off like how the performances go for the next 3 preseason games that we have. So I'm kind of excited to see who's going to be that breakout type of person or sleeper pick, you could say. Oh, muted. We got him.
We got him. No, I agree with all that. I just thought that was, I think my wife, that was the most vocal she made. I think she, as far as like, like seeing her family there. So no, but it also puts it in perspective, like you said, about all these guys are not just fighting for a spot on the Bears, but to put tape out there. So another really fun, let me see here. I'm punching notes here. I'm trying to make it. Okay. So my other favorite part. This one is very small.
Wait, do we have any bad ones?
Yes, I think we do.
No, I'm just messing. It was really good.
But I want to give my second one, because we talked a lot about K. But I thought this one with Jalen Jones on the sideline.
Oh,
and it was a small clip, and he was like, what? That throw was nasty, and he was kind of emulating, trying to do that sidearm. And he's like, how did he do that? And he's talking about obviously Caleb Williams. I just like to see the players react to it, because you hear, the coach speak. You hear the answers from when they're at the podium. I mean, what are they going to say about the guy? Nothing. But this is, and sure, the mics are everywhere. I get it, but this felt very genuine, like shock. Like, okay, that was sick. Did
you see the throw before that he was talking about? I mean, they clipped it together, so maybe it's not that exact one. But if it's the one that he's talking about, it was a beautiful one. That's that one where he side slang it and then side slang. I don't even know if that's a term. You know what I mean? He ripped that thing through, and then you have that sideline, that sideline toe tap on the sideline. Like, it's a beautiful throw. They had another one too. I don't know if you saw, where he it was very short. He did kind of like a run jump, the airman jump, and then he threw a like perfect dot. That was fire as well. So, I mean, he's looking the part. So I'm hoping, that translates on the field. I do agree with you though. There's a lot of coach speak. They're not going to talk negative about the guy. But the first time I started to think that like, oh, this is no longer coach speak, was first you heard DJ kind of talk about it like unprompted. And then Keenan Allen about like Caleb's throwing ability. Okay. And then you saw Keenan Allen. So when you see people who are great at their craft talk highly about someone without necessarily being asked like, hey, what's your favorite thing about Caleb? You know what I mean? That's from like, okay, you start to get, a trusted source, and we're starting to see multiples of that. So hopefully it translates on the field, but I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right when it comes to that. Tito, $5 super chat says, I'm soaking wet after that episode. Next week's going to be even more dope. I really,
Tito. This is from Janus. Let us know if we messed it up, but said Tito needs a mop and bucket. That's hilarious.
It is pretty funny. That is pretty funny.
I mean, you're not wrong though. You're not wrong.
No, I think it's just, it is such a cool thing to see the Bears on Hard Knocks, because I was talking to my uncle before the show. I don't know if we're ever going to see this team on Hard Knocks again in our lifetime. I don't know if that, like, maybe that's a little too crazy to say. We might see like the draft process, and hopefully we do. I know the Bears. I know how weird they can be, and I think they just had to do it. That they had no choice here, especially with the stadium coming up and some things they're going to need from the NFL. So I think giving this one in, especially with the hype, Caleb Williams, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, the all season the Bears had, it was too much to pass up for the NFL. Yeah. So I think, but for me, I was like, I don't know if we're going to get this again. So I'm going to relish everything, every moment, every episode, every clip.
When's the last time the Bears had this many storylines? You know what I mean? Like you're saying, that's what it is. There's so many things that aligned that gave you so many topics to talk about. There was absolutely no way that they were going to get out of this. I think we talked about it months ago. We're like, the Bears have been dodging Hard Knocks for years. The NFL, there is absolutely no way the NFL doesn't see this and their dollar signs on their eyeballs, right? So you didn't have a choice. Speaking of dollar signs, I didn't know this man got paid mid-practice.
That was a really cool thing to see. Yeah, that was a really
awesome.
cool, and we'll get to that. But the reason I bring up this right here, Ficky, is the thumbs up button. If you guys are watching right now, this immediately I was like, I'm going to use this during the show. And we're going to clip it here. We might have, graphics team throw this guy on here so it's a little bit easier, a little bit more friendly, so we don't have to do this. But for the first time, I thought I'd bring it up for our YouTube viewers. If you are here for the first time, we're going to be doing 2 episodes a week during the season, and of course, recapping every single Hard Knocks episode. And just like DJ Moore, please give this show a thumbs up if you can. Super great way to kind of just support the pod, support the channel, of course. And enough about that, but we appreciate it. And Ficky, I want to keep going here on some of the positives, just there's so much. But I guess we can move forward to kind of, our next portion, which would, be the worst part of Hard Knocks. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. Worst part.
I have mine if you want.
No, I got it. It's not like crazy, but I hate injuries, man. Especially for these guys, like at the end of the episode with Theo. Yeah, it's tough when you can see Poles' face, right? When they're talking about it. He's just so disappointed, not in Theo, obviously, but just like of the situation, because they said it was 4 to 5 weeks. That's the whole camp. And we just started off the episode talking about how for a lot of people, this is their one shot to see if they can make it in the NFL or not. And to see that stripped away from someone in the same way that Austin Reed's ability, the play counts or snap counts were ripped away due to the bad weather. It's just tough to see because these are young guys chasing their dreams. And now it's like, does Theo make a team? Does he make the team this year? Does he make it any team this year? Does he have a chance next year? You know what I mean? It's just, you just don't like to see that.
So the cool thing with Theo, because that is, first of all, his singing.
Wild.
Part of the episode.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Are you there, Ficky? Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I lost you for a second. Wild, him ripping off his pants. Did not expect any of that coming. Not the best singing performances from him or Caleb, to be honest.
No.
But to get back on Theo, you hate to see the injury. Absolutely. It's tough. But at the same time with Theo, I wanted to kind of bring it up. I was looking at his contract because he is an undrafted free agent that they signed. It was a 3-year, almost 3 years, $2.8 million contract. Includes a $20,000 signing bonus, $100,000 guaranteed, and an average annual salary of about $950,000. So the cool thing with him is he might be practice squad, but I don't think he's going to be away from the team. I would be shocked if he wasn't. He was very highly touted. Came out of Columbia, Canada. I think he's one of the best tackles to come out of there. So I would just be shocked if they're just like, we're gonna give up on Theo. But I agree.
You see it a lot though. That's what I'm scared.
The episode made it seem like it was over.
That's what I'm saying. That's my
worst. I think that's why they do it. But I think that's why they do it. They're like, okay, we gotta have something kind of
you gotta come back
here. And I just don't think Theo's gone. But they showed the luggage on the cart from the game or whatever. Going out, and I'm like, this man, I don't think. And I had to pull up his contract and his details because they were really, really high on him. So I was just a little shocked they made it seem
I don't
like it was over.
I think he gets cut, but you have seen it. Let me put it this way. Things like that have happened before. Signed, injury, cut, they get someone else, right? They move surprise cuts happen all the time. I hope that is not the case just due to an injury, but it's happened before. So that's why I had to put it worse because I just don't like it when people aren't given a fair shot. Yeah,
no, I agree. It'll be interesting to track his part of it. So I wanted to bring up some of the other reviews. So I went ahead and tweeted. I said, drop your reviews for episode 1. And Jack, I don't really have an overlay for this one. I apologize. But it's just like kind of reviews. So if you want to just bring up the Hard Knocks episode 1 overlay, that'd be great. But this one is just kind of hear about what everyone else is saying on Twitter. Now, if you want to put in the comments your overall, like, 5 words or less recap of the show of episode 1, go ahead and do that. Jack will throw them on the screen. But this one's from Sean David, who's actually at camp today, and he
had
got
a lot
perhaps
of
one of my
videos.
favorite throws that Caleb won, and we'll get to that later in the week, I guess. But awesome, check out his account, Sean_SEM20. But he goes, so awesome, literally the first episode of Hard Knocks I've ever watched, to be honest. That was kind of surprising, but hell of an episode to start with. And then Daniel Berger, he goes, it was great. Had some footage that I already seen from Bears pressers and social media vids, but overall it was very entertaining. I agree. One thing with me and Ficky, and I guess even Daniel, who's again D Berger MD on Twitter, which I guess I could share these, but the thing, Ficky, I was going to say is we cover this team so in depth.
Yeah,
we did. Did you notice? You're like, I seen that already. I've seen that. I guess that's like the pros and cons of seeing everything.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, but in the grand scheme of it, like we're only seeing still 10%, but it is like, you know what it's like? It's like when you go to a movie you're super excited about, but you've seen 3 trailers already. It's better to go completely blind in it. You love watching the trailer. The trailers were fantastic, but when you're in the movie, you're like, oh, I already saw this. Right. So, but it's all good. I'm just glad it was, like you said, a long episode. So it wasn't like, if it would have been 30 minutes, I really would have been kind of disappointed. But I'm glad they're able to pull a lot out. Muted again. Got him twice. We got him. We got him, folks.
The reason I'm muted is I was trying to look up. What? I'm so confused. I thought I unmuted myself and it was showing unmuted. Anyways, long story short, I was trying to look up the guy who voices over, because I know we've seen everything twice, Ficky. We've seen all the clips for the most part. And we, like I said, maybe 10, 15%. All I'm saying is the voiceover with this Hard Knocks makes everything 1,000 times better. Like, I'm going to go back and probably rewatch this episode because I want to make sure, 1, I didn't miss anything. And 2, I just want to do it, man. There's what? We get 8 of these?
I don't know. I was about to ask you how many, because
I think there's
Giants did 5, and I think I looked at
maybe 6.
Miami Dolphins in season last season, so they didn't do the off season, but the in season.
What was the training camp though? I wonder.
Yeah, I didn't check that one.
Yeah,
I just checked.
I think we're gonna get 6 to 8. So, but it's Leave Schreiber who does. I may have butchered
his
that
low, deep voice.
Deep dude, that. Like, yeah, pretty insane. I think that's pretty cool to see. But I want to finish up with these reviews. If we can here, let me pull it up. So it goes, that was Daniel Berger. He talked about that. Charlie H, he goes, I thought it was a great intro. I hope we get to learn some of the players more personally going forward. I can't wait to see more of Caleb. Make sure. Did we bring up y'all have me confused for a second. There we go. That was Charlie H. And then Levante Rogers, he goes, I loved it. Caleb, muting this because I haven't seen it yet. That's Megasports23 on Twitter. And then we have Eric Root, all caps, cinema. And then we have a rating here, which we're going to have our ratings at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. Our own Rotten Tomatoes score, Ficky and I are going to give it for each entire episode, and then we'll see kind of what we end up with as far as an average score goes. So 10 out of 10 from the Rainmaker. Theo Benedict stole the scene. Again, shout out to Theo. Jason Lippman on Twitter. Caleb coming out to the Bulls music got me hyped.
Yeah,
again,
that was fantastic.
I 100% agree with that one. That was pretty epic. I just didn't see that coming. I just did not see it coming.
Yeah, and with the the Bulls
announcer.
But
I thought, I was like, are they gonna do this for the whole entire starting players? But I was like, no way. But I initially thought I saw Caleb. I was like, are they gonna do Keenan Allen, DJ Moore? I thought that would be pretty sick too.
That would have, but Caleb wouldn't have me enough, so I'm good. I'm locked.
No, you're right. It probably would have been, that'd
have been so long.
Less is more. Less is more. Less is more, especially in that. So Neither Wolf on Twitter goes, trying to find a Caleb sliding gif, but yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait for more. Love to see the high expectations being portrayed. They all seem and feel genuine. The combo between Coach Flus and D'Amico Ryans about the mentalities they feel they have in their winning quarterbacks is exciting. And I think that's talking about CJ Stroud, of course. Yeah. That was a cool part too, right, Fick?
Yeah, of course.
So
we're trying. I guess we're literally trying. A great season for us is for Caleb to have a CJ Stroud type season. So if there's a team that we should be modeling, it should be the Houston Texans, right? No one expected them to be good. They drafted very well last year, specifically with their quarterback. And then they kind of started to go like all in, right? Trading for some big name players like Stephon Diggs. So it's good to see that. And I hope that, again, we talked about this earlier. I hope Flus is picking up some stuff from all different aspects, which I'm sure he is. And he talked about in his presser this week, like, hey, I'm learning on the, third year. You learn every year. You keep taking stuff that works, getting rid of stuff that doesn't. So I'm kind of, maybe this is me, hot take here, but I'm kind of, or maybe hot opinion. I'm excited to see what Flus does this year. I know everyone's talking about the great roster we have, but I kind of want to see what Flus does with an actual good team. Should be interesting.
It's make or break for him.
For sure.
Absolutely. I want to go through a couple more of these real quick. Shaggy, I need the whole episode ejected into my veins. I can't wait for the season. Again, these are all Twitter comments that you guys just absolutely, I love it. I love the seeing everyone's reactions to it. Ashwin goes quite solid. Love the Caleb Flus coverage in general, especially Flus makeover. It's the Simone Biles effect, but I didn't care as much for how much they covered Jonathan Owens. It was quite sad to see Austin Reed's family go all the way to Ohio only for it to be rained out. Again, yeah, that's kind of how I felt as well. Jake goes, where can I pirate it? Man, you're going to have to, what is it, $11, $11.99?
No, you can hit me up. I got links, but
oh, you do for this?
Oh yeah, I had.
Dang.
Yeah, I got links.
I just shelled out the money, I guess.
Yeah.
I want that.
No, I got
4K.
HBO. I watched it on HBO Max, but if you need to, I'm just saying, hit me up. I got you.
Caleb to Rome on Twitter just can't help but wonder if Eberflus tried that hard before Caleb and with Getsy and JF and looks like 100% different coach. I don't know how I feel about that. Interesting. Dylan Weaver, love how much unseen footage we get to see. Loved it and can't wait. I think I'll probably wrap it up there. If you guys want to take a look, I just appreciate you guys showing the love, giving so many comments here. You can go ahead.
Overall, though, it seems very positive.
Oh,
People
yeah.
enjoyed it. So,
and rightfully so. I mean, there's not much. I don't think you can really hate on this one for the most part.
Yeah, unless you're a Packers fan, there's most people who watch that probably was like, that was exciting, right?
Yeah. No,
I
agree.
You had funny stuff in it. You had serious stuff. They had some vulnerability mixed in. It's kind of like you touched on a lot of the, things that people look for in entertainment television. So,
yeah,
it's good. Question is though, will they get better? I guess we'll find out. Like, do you think this will be the peak? Do you think this will be the peak episode? Or you?
Oh, I don't know. We'll get to that here. We have our next episode thoughts. That I have something I want to say because I do feel pretty passionate about it. But my worst, because I think you did Theo, right? I don't even think I gave mine. We just kind of went down the rabbit hole here.
Yeah,
my worst was, oh man, I was gonna go cliche. Let me see here. I don't want to go like the end of the episode because that's just like that's a cop out, Did my power go out? Can you hear me?
Yeah, a light kind of went out for a second. We can hear you though. You're good.
Oh, that was weird, dude.
Yeah,
that was weird. I'm getting a little creeped out. I was like, what the hell? Anyway, so my worst. I already talked about Austin Reed. I don't want to go there either because that was tough to see, it being rained out for all those guys. So I guess what I'll do is I'm going to go with this might be a little weird, but if I have to nitpick the DJ Moore, I would have liked to seen. I like seeing them talk about it, and we got some numbers, but I wanted a little bit more of like the nitty gritty. I wanted to get a little bit deeper. I wanted to see like them researching contracts, and I know we got to see. Why is the president? What the heck? Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren. He was in there. That was cool to see him, but I just would have liked to see a little bit more of that of DJ. And how that contract really came together, talking with, maybe talking with his agents over the phones. I want them to tap the phones, man. I want to see that Hard Knocks Giants where they were kind of to hear those conversations. Yeah. And so for me, it was cool to see, hey, first of all, the office of Ryan Poles looking out, I think, into the practice field and being like, hey, call DJ up here, if it's cool, blah, blah. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But for me, I wanted a little bit more. And again, this is totally nitpicking because I could have went with a couple other things, but really great overall episode. But for me, I want a little bit, maybe it's a little bit nerdy, but I want more.
Well, that's
no
why
pun
I
intended
wanted
with DJ Moore in his contract. So,
well, that's why I like the Giants one so much. Not saying I didn't enjoy this one a lot, but the Giants one is literally nothing but the nitty gritty, like numbers, talking to agents, complete offseason. That's why that one was so interesting because I feel like we've gotten, because of social media and the social media teams for a lot of these NFL teams, we're getting more and more behind the scenes when it comes to like the players. Hard Knocks still goes deeper than any of the social media teams, but we're kind of getting accustomed to seeing the players, right? What we still don't see, you never see a social media team put out anything that deals with their off-season like thought process, scouting, talking to agents, running the numbers. So like the Giants one was very eye-opening, kind of probably like when the first Hard Knocks ever happened. People were like, what the heck is this? This is crazy. So yeah, I think now that we've seen that, like, hey, teams do that, and it's literally by the same production company, we're probably like, hey, come on, give us a little bit more. So got him for a third.
No. I was in the middle. I had clicked the button but delayed.
Okay.
Jack, there's a comment I starred here. It talks about DJ talking about. It was actually with Caleb Williams. Right here. So it's Giovanni Garcia on YouTube. First of all, thank you for the comment. Love the part where DJ is talking about how many guys are going to make the team. And I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you're talking about this specific part. It was Caleb Williams, and he was on the sideline during the first preseason game. It was kind of after Colin Johnson kind of went nuclear, right? And he was like, hey, he's going to be on the team for a little bit, referring to Colin Johnson. And then DJ was like, how many wide receivers are we going to keep on the team? And then, how many? What are you thinking, Caleb? Just asked him about like how many we're going to keep. And I think Caleb or DJ's like, this is deep, right? You got Tyler, you got Bayless. Of course, you got the big three with Rome, him, and then Keenan. But then Caleb didn't even respond. He was just like, you're right.
But that's
kind of tough.
We literally have talked about that in the past two episodes. Yeah. It was like,
but it was cool to see Caleb kind of stump, being like, shit, you can't keep 7.
Only 53 players.
Thinking 5 or 6, maybe.
There's like 90 players on the team right now, and they have to cut 40 of those. Like, think about that. Half of these people will not make this roster. And that's why it's hard with the wide receiver and running back, because you already got it. They're pretty strong rooms already. So this isn't like the team of 2 years ago where it's like, oh, Colin could make that team. That wide receiver room, easily he could have made that team. It's a whole different beast now.
No, Colin Johnson would have probably been leading receiver in 2022.
What was that?
They had Darnell Mooney. He probably is wide receiver too. To Darnell Mooney, for being, I know we're joking here, but
we didn't have much.
I just thought that was a really cool interaction. Good comment to bring up too. Also, I know we have worst part of the episode. I'm going to bring it back up. Caleb Williams never finished his singing, or at least maybe it didn't show it on the show. I'm disappointed in that. He gave up. Something happened. I know he's getting paper thrown at him. I know he's getting paper. They're throwing shit hard as hell at him. I thought Roma Dunze, I think it was him, and I'm pretty sure, winded up and just chucked. I know it's paper. I just thought it was funny. And
by the way, John, we talked about this in our last episode. It's so Tory Taylor is an exception for the 93 cut or the 92. I can't remember the exact number, but the 53-man cut. Yeah, the 53-man cut, your final cut. No, he counts, so it's only 53.
Yeah, because right now you just get the perk is you get an extra guy right now.
For now,
for camp body, an extra camp body, which is cool. You get a good look and you get to see. Anyways, also, and then bringing up Tory Taylor, another worst part of the episode.
I didn't see him.
What? How? Why are we not seeing Tory Taylor content?
Well, he didn't even. That's true.
I didn't even see his face
in the game. He didn't even punt, so that makes it worse.
But I didn't even see.
I guarantee there's going to be a whole segment about him. You know that, right? That's going to be the next episode. We'll talk about it. But
I know
there's no way they're not going to put a lot of time on an Aussie player and a punter that was picked in the 4th round. They're going to definitely put some focus on that. Let me address this though real quick. So Narc, sup, bro? I DM'd you about my jersey update. Your jersey just came in. It's actually right back there. So that will be going out to you this weekend. I'm pretty sure if that's who I think it is. So just want to give you an update there. Okay.
Oh yeah. So let me see here. Next part of the show, because I kind of want to stay a little bit. It's so fun that we have this much to talk about. This one's gonna be hard. Next kind of segment here is gonna be star of the episode. We're gonna do this every single episode of the Hard Knocks series. I keep on calling it Hard Knocks. I have no idea why. Probably one, I'm tired. I'm not used to probably recording this late, to be honest, even though it's only a couple hours really past our typical recording time. But anyways, long story short, star of the episode is exactly what you think it is. And we're going to do it every single week. So before we do though, Fick, if you are here for the first time, hit that like button, subscribe. We have gained over 1,000 subs in the last like 30 days or 15 days or whatever it is. You guys are killing it. We appreciate the love on YouTube. And of course, our Apple, Spotify listeners as well. So if you can, hit the like button, subscribe, rate and review on the podcast on all platforms as well. We appreciate it. And again, we're going to be here twice a week. And of course, maybe 3 times with Hard Knocks episodes as well. But during the season, twice a week for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Also, start of the show, Ficky.
Wait a second, I want to do our little since we're about midway, it'd be perfect. So if you are new to the show and it's your first time watching, please give a hashtag new face gang in the chat and we'll make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. Also, if this is not your first time and this is your second time or your 50th time, whatever it is, and you are a true OG, please give a hashtag OG in the chat and we'll also give you a shout out. Like Dave said, like and subscribe. It's free. It really does help. We appreciate all the support. Also, if you want to support us, we do have our own merch on our store, thebfrstore.com. That is thebfrstore.com. We have shirts, hoodies, hats, stickers, anything you want. And we're working on some other stuff as well. And if you really want to support us, and then also, if you want to be a part of our growing Patreon community, you can join at the BFR Den on Patreon. That's the BFR Den. On there, we have a free tier. If you don't want to spend any money, that's totally fine. We have a rookie tier and we have a Hall of Fame Grizzly tier. On there, we have giveaways, which the giveaway for last month, I'm going to do tomorrow. So stay tuned, our Patreon members. We have one-on-one video chats with Dave and I. We have our access to our Discord. Our Madden League's going to be on there. A bunch of awesome stuff on there. So if you want to support us that way, we appreciate it as well. All the support from both our store and the Patreon and YouTube all just goes back into making this show better so we can keep enhancing it and giving you guys better quality content, future events, meetups, all that type of stuff that we're working on the background. So appreciate everyone here. And again, if you're an OG or this is your new time, give a hashtag in the chat and we'll make sure to give you a shout out before the show. We appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. So the sport's been unreal. Unreal. I continue to go on and on, but we do appreciate it.
It really has been.
But
it has been crazy.
Star of the episode. I'm gonna.
I don't want to give a cop-out answer, so I got to think of someone else.
Yeah, it can't be Caleb.
I know. But to be fair, half the episode was Caleb. So
I'm gonna go. I'll say I'm gonna go Matt Eberflus. I think he was outside of Caleb. He got a lot of run time, a lot of screen time. And so my star of the episode, I think just here seeing how flexible, and we talked about earlier on the show about that one-on-one conversation with Caleb, one-on-one conversation with Saban, seeing him take everything, from that conversation with, Saban and then applying it. You can see it. I know it's all cinema. I know they're making it look fantastic, but it is really cool because Flus, I am rooting for him. I wanted him gone after week 4 of last year. So to see his glow up, literally they talked about it. His wife talked about it, about what this process, he kept the beard back in January, he ended up keeping it. And she was like, hey, no, that's got to stay. And then of course, we heard about his daughters, everyone kind of helping him with his fits. And now Flus is, the summer Flus is unreal. Him and Ryan Poles, there was a still of them talking, I think by the pool about 15 minutes into the episode. And it was awesome. They look like Miami Vice. They look like they're going to fight. I think Jacob and Fonte had one of my favorite tweets because I was on Twitter I was, sharing my thoughts, but Infante, it was the clip of those two in the pool in the background. And, it was the Step Brothers quote where it's like, hey, we're here to fuck shit up. Yeah. And I was like, I was pissed. I was like, I didn't think about that. It was just almost the perfect caption. So anyway, star of the show for me, episode 1 is head coach Matt Eberflus. We'll see where he goes, but just like this season, he needed a big first episode, man. Like I know he's winning people over right now in the offseason, but I mean, he continued right on episode 1. I thought even from the speech, which was a little rocky in the beginning, I was like, I might believe in this.
I think that's just because
it is hard.
We haven't had winning seasons. That's it. You know what I mean? So it's hard.
Anyways, long story short, star of the episode, Matt Eberflus gets my first star of the series. So,
man, that's so tough because, like, to be fair, Caleb and Flus probably took up 65-70% of the runtime. So I'm trying to think of like how many players actually got a lot of shine. Barely anyone on the defense did. Like Jalen Johnson had a couple. They had a couple appearances, but like they didn't really talk that much. The only other ones on offense that you saw really talk was DJ Moore, Keenan Allen being his goofy self as always. And then DeAndre Swift had like a little short thing talking to Caleb, like speak up and type of thing. So I don't want to cop out, but there just wasn't a lot of content outside of Caleb for Caleb to not also be the star, you know? So hopefully next episode, which I think we'll talk about, there'll probably be more people who they target.
You're not going to go Colin Johnson. He could be another star.
Yeah, but I feel like he was more of a little bit, but I feel like he was more of,
or
he didn't even get to, right, but they didn't even get to talk that much. It was more like they were stars of the game. You know what I mean? They didn't really put a lot of focus on them like talking or like getting clips of their voiceovers, but I could see that. I mean, at the end of the day, they definitely were the stars of that Hall of Fame game. And I'm hoping specifically with Colin, I hope that he continues down that path, right? Of like playing well and they keep building on that story so he can become more of that star. So,
yeah, I would say if I had to go with it, because you're right, there wasn't much, I guess, talking from other people, just because they had a lot to get in this first episode. So I think there'll be other interviews and such that come our way. But yeah, so I think overall, pretty easy to pick either one of those two, either Caleb or Flus. Now, this is hot seat. This one's hard because it's episode 1. I was thinking this could be more of a segment for later on in the series. But anyone on the hot seat, whether it's, oh, this looked bad, or hey, this person's getting cut. It's really just a player that either just didn't get depicted well, or isn't viewed probably great after a certain screen time or something along those lines. And of course, anyone that's having a bad camp, and maybe they talk about it during the show, because there probably is a few cuts that they're going to get that are going to be coming down the in the next few episodes probably.
So So speaking of Colin, right? It's not that he's on the hot seat, but I think we talked about it, the wide receiver room it's got about 5 slots already locked in. And if you listen to today's presser with Eberflus, Velus is also working on the running back side. So I feel like he's more of a lock, which means one less spot in that wide receiver room.
Yeah. So and Velus was also drafted.
Right. So it's like, is he on the, even though he played amazing in that game, is he on the hot seat just due to the limited spots on this roster? It sucks. That's what sucks about preseason.
I think it's fair. It's fair. And we're going to have to see how this plays out because there's 3 more games,
Of course.
For me, hot seat for me, I'm going to go the Hall of Fame game. That's what I'm going to do. I don't think it was great. I like seeing the ceremony. I think the fact that, first of all, it rained. The weather was terrible. They should have known. They saw this radar coming in, at least a day in advance. The field was garbage. Overall, the ceremonies went great, but from the product, I think they're on the high. I don't know. This Hall of Fame game is getting a little overrated here. So that's really hard to pick anybody here. I mean, Colin Johnson's a good one, but Austin Reed not getting to finish, his family coming down, like we talked about earlier. Hall of Fame game. The people that set this up, I know you can't change it probably. The kickoff time is probably harder to do, but maybe move it up an hour or 2, and we've been able to finish this game. So I have to nitpick here. So I'll just get a Hall of Fame game. And there's been some complaints over the years, honest to God, about not just the playing surface, but the Hall of Fame game in general. So I like it. I like the premise. I like being able to see, obviously this year with so many Bears being, honored,
3 of them,
really
crazy.
cool. But man, that was tough to see it canceled. Like, I know we went through it. We were live at the time, but like they canceled the game, suspended it, or, canceled altogether. The Bears won, which is great, but it's like, it's kind of weird to see outside of, obviously the Bengals and Bills game a couple
you don't see
2 years ago.
NFL loves their money. They're not.
I'm saying, were there not live bets either? Like,
yeah, no, there were because they got voided. Some of them got voided.
Yeah, they avoided. Like, I know there's a lot of things. Like, this is like the first game.
Yeah, NFL's not gonna.
People are loving it. So
they suspend. That means no advertising money. The NFL is not. They love their money. They're not doing it unless they don't have a choice. Yeah, so I feel that though. I mean, that's the thing about the Hall of Fame game. It is literally the definition of a tease. You've been waiting so long for NFL action, and then you get to the NFL action, and you're like, oh wow,
this is canceled.
You're like, oh wow, this isn't what I thought. This isn't what I thought I was getting. So
it's not looking great for you.
But at least we get an extra practice, which is good. Not extra practice. We started practice early, which is good. And then we also get 3 more. So at least it's not like this is our one and then we lose out in the other 2. So hopefully the real preseason, which means that Caleb Williams will get some snaps in the next one, actually happens. And we get to see some.
And I think
starters play.
I think Caleb's going to play. He's going to play.
I think so too. I think there was report. I think Schefter said
now he may only hand it off, but he's going to play.
He's going to be out there. I think Schefter said that he would be surprised. I think he said this like Monday. He'd be surprised if Caleb is not playing at least a little bit.
And guys in the beat that I've talking to as well, like, because I'm like trying to get engaged. Because there's a report. I think it was Ben Devine, and he's been accurate on some things. But I was like, talk about people. I don't think it hasn't been decided, which Flus even talked about. Like, I'll talk with you guys on Thursday and we'll have a better answer. But from what I've heard, it's leaning towards, as long as there's not crazy disruption with, I think, the offensive line, which today you saw some cohesiveness. Like, people were kind of back. Tevin Jenkins, who was out, Nate Davis kind of left practice 2 days ago, and now he was back. No one even asked about it at the podium, which I found odd, but cool. I mean, he's back, so I guess that kind of answers it. But Nate Davis, again, he kind of got a message today from Flus, it was very read between the lines. Or actually, I think it was very forward of Flus talking about, hey, can a player lose his starting position due to injury? And
he's not wrong.
I think that's possible.
That happens.
But it is odd but Flus doesn't have to say that. No, he does not have to come out and say that. I just thought it was like very direct, like, hey, Nate Davis, what the fuck is going on, buddy?
For sure.
And so, but I really want to take a step. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I'm like, let's take it easy on Nate Davis for a little bit longer. He's running me.
I mean, look, it's because I'm still like not like upset.
Are we the only 2 people?
Bro, people do not like it.
But are we like the only people who are like, hey, let's give it a little bit longer? I feel like we're like the only 2 fans left.
The dude, like, his circumstances that he went through last year are the worst you could ever do. So like, that's my thing. I feel like there's like a lack of empathy. I know it's a result-based business. I totally understand that. But can we let this man play a season, without
I'm
trauma?
not even talking about last year, because like he was here for the first week and a half, 2 weeks of practice. He was there. He got injured. That fucking happens. And I get it. It's not great with Nate Davis. And you talk about last year and everything that happened. For me, I'm like, there was like 18 players or like 15 players last year heading into week 1, or about 2 weeks ago to week 1. Remember against I think it was Green Bay. We're like, where are they? There's so many people are banged up. Guys are injured. They're playing half, now, they're playing like half practices or on the, the bike or treadmill. And we were worried, but then we were full strength come week 1, like out of nowhere, like, oh no, we're good. And so I think these guys are very cautious, which they should be. Now we still got our ass beat. Week 1. We talked too much on it. So we were healthy.
I was at that.
We still got our ass kicked. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. We could be missing guys and maybe it goes differently, but we were 100% healthy. And now just that we have different players here. But all in all, I'm going to give Nate Davis 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks.
I'm giving him this. Bro, look, I need to see him.
No, I need him on the practice field. If he's not in the practice field in 2 weeks.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Then you'll be concerned.
Then I'm worried.
Yeah, of course.
But if he's out there and he's back practicing within a week,
who cares?
And he consistently plays he practices through for the next 3 weeks and he's ready to go, no one's going to be worried about it. And I think I'm not saying he's gonna be a star, but this guy can play. He can be a very good, or he can be a good right guard.
He had his worst season last year, and there's a reason why that could, you can look at variables why that would happen, right? Outside sources, external factors. But if you look at the rest of his career, he's been pretty consistent at being above average guard. That's why Ryan Poles went out and signed him. So
yeah,
I know it's what have you done for me recently, and that's how the NFL is. So I totally get why people feel that way. But I guess I'm just looking at it like, this is a new season, a new team. He deserves another chance to go out there and show that he can go back to what he was previously. Now, if he doesn't this year, now we have a trend. We have 2 years back to back of him not being good. Then it's like, okay, maybe we need to move on. But 1 year of not being good with known external factors that we know about, I'm not going to just be like, oh, it's over. Some people saying it's the worst Ryan Poles signing. And I'm like, bro, did you all forget about Claypool? And you're saying this is even worse?
Well, that's not a signing. That's a trade.
That's even worse. You gave up picks.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, as far as signing goes.
I mean, true. I get you. It's not a signing. Worse
probably.
Move, well, to be fair, he doesn't have a lot. He doesn't have a lot. He has what? 2 off seasons?
I would say the worst signing could be the guy that didn't even sign all the way. He failed his physical.
His first one.
God dang.
The tackle. Oh, the defensive tackle. Why can I not?
Whoever it is,
he ended up going to Pittsburgh.
Right now, yes, hit me. And I don't know if he's in the league right now. To be honest, I'm serious. He missed out a lot of money, dude.
With that foot injury. Oh, man, he couldn't pass his physical. Why can't I was excited about his name?
I was very excited about
it.
Anyways, long story short, throw it in the chat if you can. I think hot seat's a little early, but I think it's, look at the Hall of Fame game in there. And then Colin Johnson's, I think, is very fair. Great game, but it's like it highlighted, and DJ Moore and Caleb, we talked about it earlier. It highlighted how deep that position group is. And it's like, you can have a great preseason game.
Larry
Ogunjobi.
Yeah, that's it. I think he played. He ended up being signed with the Pittsburgh, but I don't think he ended up doing that well. So, but thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. Or not Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Jared. Yeah, thanks, Larry. No, thanks, Jared, for sharing that.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our second to last segment here, which is going to be our next thoughts for episode 2. Yeah, 2 already. We're already at number 2. So what do you think they're going to cover? What do you want to see next?
So they'll obviously cover the preseason game, the next one.
What do you want to see though, Fick?
I would like
more of.
Give me some players on defense. I need at least a JJ or a Montez.
But we did see Jalen with his new ride.
Yeah, but it was like very cool, small. I mean, like
short.
I need a segment or so where you're locked
Ficky,
in.
This is a new era of Chicago. They're tired.
It's true,
defense.
but
this is offense, baby.
Hey,
even though we're gonna have a top 5 defense.
True. Last time I checked, though, our 2 All-Pro players were on the defensive side, so maybe let's talk about them a little bit.
And only one makes the top 100.
Facts, hilarious. Which is crazy. So either give me this. These are the 3 I want to see on the defensive side. Either you give me Montez, which they may not. Montez isn't like necessarily like super in the cameras type of guy. JJ definitely is. He's a talker. He was talking all during practice when I was there. So I'd love to see JJ, and I'd love to see Kevin as well. The new piece coming in. Bayard, our strong safety. I would love to see him, or a free safety, I believe, coming in and seeing kind of like how he is on the leadership role, like what he's saying to some of the other younger players. So that's what I would love to see and even if it's not defense, it can be offense. Keenan, DJ, it doesn't matter. I want to see a little bit more like segments on players because we didn't get that now. I'm good if there's less Caleb, if we get a little bit more of some other players that we wouldn't expect.
I agree. No, I agree with all that. I want there to be, so I think they're laying the foundation for the show. They're Caleb and of course Eberflus were super, super prominent in this episode. They're going to continue to be. You got the head coach, the quarterback. It's going to happen. But I want to see a little bit. I want them to go a little bit deeper. And I think that's fair. Probably not a fair thing to say because it is episode 1, so they have to lay the story, right?
Yeah.
So for me, episode 2, let's just get a little bit deeper here. Let's like you said, talk. I want it one-on-one. I want to hear more of JJ, some of the defensive players, but I want to see more in-depthness in regards to the conversations behind the scenes, even like DJ Moore and that contract extension. it almost felt like it was 1920 Drive-ish, where it's like, oh, we get to see that. That's cool. But I need more. And I know you can only fit so much into these episodes, but that was less than 2 minutes. Am I right?
Oh, it was easy less than 2 minutes.
Give me 5 minutes. Give me a couple phone taps, a couple back and forths, DJ be like, laughing it off, like, I don't like that. I just needed more because this was like, oh, done deal. It praised the Bears. And maybe it was just such an easy, DJ is easygoing, and maybe there just was none of that, right? So there's no diva there. Anyways, all I'm saying is I want them to go a little bit more, deeper, uncover a couple things, and I want maybe a little bit more tension. But you got to
remember though, even though Hard Knocks gets all this behind the scenes stuff, the Bears still have to sign off on what they put out. So
they need to sign off a little bit more.
Yeah, I was just saying this may not be a Hard Knocks issue. It might be from top down. You know what I mean? So I bet you they got clips of that. They did not just get 2 minutes of the deal, right? I'm sure though maybe Ryan Poles put his foot down, Kevin Warren, or maybe it went up to George himself. For some reason it was cut out. But I agree, though. I'm 100% aligned with you on that. I think the more in-depth we can get, we don't want it to be 1920 Drive, right? Because we see that weekly, which is good stuff, but we want something that is more than 1920. That's the whole point. Otherwise, we would just go let the Bears do this. So,
you're probably, if anyone's watching on YouTube, they're like, what the hell is Dave doing? He's
tying his
I'm tying my shoe. I'm
tying his shoes. That's it. No.
I'm like getting corded. Like, oh my gosh. Choking myself with my own headphones.
It's Dave's first episode too. So
yeah. No, well, I got these I got this new setup kind of, and these lights are kind of a different angle, and dude, they're killing me. I would show y'all. I'm sweating a little bit, but they're killing me. So I'm gonna have to figure this out, get used to it. But anyways, that's what I want to see. But overall, really good episodes. That kind of leaves us to our final segment here. Before we get to our final segment, let's do our shout outs, Fick, if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. And
Jack, if you don't mind pulling those up for us.
Thumbs up, please, if you can, in the chat.
So if you're watching OG, Giovanni Garcia, who's in there all the time. Appreciate it with the hashtag OG Bear Down. We got JG. Haven't seen you in a minute, but definitely a true OG. Hashtag OG. Appreciate that on YouTube. We got Brandon Moss with the new face gang. Appreciate it, Brandon. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for checking us out. Rodrigo Martinez on YouTube. Hashtag new face gang. Saw y'all on Twitter, and you guys just got a new listener after this live show. Thanks for the good work, fellas. Appreciate it. We really do appreciate
Rodrigo.
it. Me and Dave be glued to our phones on Twitter, so we appreciate when people
unhealthy.
Yeah, for sure. But it's the life we chose. Watching Bears games sometimes is unhealthy, so I think we were kind of warmed up for this life. But yeah, I think that's it, right, Jack?
Cool,
awesome. Well, appreciate you guys.
So, again, appreciate y'all. Insane. I think the subs are over 1,000 in the last 15 days. It's unreal. The season is going to just skyrocket. We're super excited to cover it. Again, if you don't know who we are, Ficky, he's a Chicago Bears content creator, obviously Bears fan, of course. He is everywhere. Check out all his socials. He does really great work. Myself, Dave, I do write. I've been writing for SM Sports Mockery for 4 years now. The show would not happen, of course, without Sports Mockery, of course. So show them love. But if you want to follow me, of course, all socials at Dave_BFR. And of course, check out my writings. I've already started a little bit, but I'm going to have a pretty lengthy recap article out tomorrow morning. So if you want a little bit more, I guess, nuance, or I feel like this podcast is pretty deep. Like, we talk about everything. Anyways, if you want to inform or just some other, some fun nuggets that I kind of want to share, that column's going to be out tomorrow morning, again, on sportsmockery.com. So shout out to them. Shout out to the pod. Shout out to the supporters. You guys have been amazing. And I cannot believe the season is right around the corner. So, Ficky, final aspect of the show. We both are movie guys. We love Marvel. And of course, I don't know if you pay attention to Rotten Tomatoes scores. I actually
I like the audience score because it gives me
as I've gotten older, I actually don't look at them until after the show or the movie, because I'm like, I want to get my own. I'm going to create my own.
Yeah, you don't.
And when I was younger, I used to always look at it, and they kind of dictated a little bit, like, oh, do I really want to go to the movies and see this show? It's getting a 50% Rotten Tomatoes score. Sometimes the audience score, like you said, can be better. So we're doing like a Rotten Tomatoes score, and this segment might change as far as the name, but that's the best I can come up with. And each episode, we are going to go ahead and give it our own score, and it's 0% to 100%, right?
Yes.
And then I think
100%
fresh
good.
is 60% or more.
Yeah, 60 or
And
certified
then
fresh.
rotten is, yeah. Anyways, we're just going to give it. So, Ficky, do you mind if I start or do you want to go?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to go here real quick. Just with my score, I'm going to go solid 80%.
Okay.
So it's good. I thought they had some good moments, but again, I thought it was missing a little of the meat of like the depth. And I keep saying depth, but it didn't go, into great detail on some of these things that I thought they could have. Again, they're laying the foundation. So I'm going to start off 80%, and it should only go up from here. So a good first episode.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's good. Mine's near you. I'm gonna split mine up though, and then I'll give you a total. If we're thinking about like a football game in the first half, actually, this should relate to the Bears pretty good last year, right? Last year we could play a first half. The second half we were god awful. So I would say the first half, like all the way up, like the flu stuff, the Caleb Williams like intro, all of that, like that's 100% for me because that I was so locked in. I loved everything about that. On the back half, they didn't get in as depth, like you said, as much as we'd like. So I'm dropping that down to like a 70%. It's not bad. Still certified fresh, right? But it didn't keep me as like excited as maybe the first half, or the first half was so strong that the second half didn't feel as strong, right? So you take the average of those, no pun intended, I'm giving it an 85% is where I'd put it overall. So near you, so it was just more of like super high and then kind of like slowly kind of dimmed down a little bit. But overall, yo, Dave was so pissed about my score, Jack. You say, yo, I gotta get the fuck out of here. But in the meantime, I'll pull you up, Jack, if you don't mind. What would you give your score on this?
I'm back.
Okay, wait a second. Wait, let me pull the.
What is it?
No, I was gonna ask Jack his score.
Okay.
Let me see. Wait a second.
Episode.
There we go.
Scores. My laptop had to restart real quick. Like
no,
Google Chrome just updated. I was like,
you love that.
What the fuck? This has been a weird ass episode for me. My lights are blinding me. They flickered. I don't know what's going on. It's a little alarming, but Jack, what was your score? Because I'm gonna keep track of these as well, just so we can kind of throw it out on a graphic too.
I think 80 was a good spot. It seemed it was a good episode. There was nothing wrong with it, no complaint, and yeah, I mean it was good. It wasn't like, oh my god, I'm rewatching this 3 more times tonight, but it's Hard Knocks, But yeah, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it.
So
if
Jack
every episode
score.
If every episode was 80, if every episode is 80% overall, though, I feel like that's a good Hard Knocks, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Fick, you went
85.
With the Homer score of 85.
The Bears.
Okay. I have a quick notes I took down during this episode, if you don't mind. It'll take 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
You got a minute.
All right.
Not even 30. I give you a minute.
Thank you.
Time starts now.
Dear Austin Reed and family, I'm sorry for what I said during the Hall of Fame game. Shout out Simone Biles. We already said this, but Corey Taylor not being there was a crisis. The clip of Caleb on the slip and slide when he sort of tries to stand up and like stutters his leg scared me. And I was like, could you imagine if the number 1 overall pick for the Bears like tore his Achilles on a slip and slide drill?
That'd be so Bears though, would it not?
Also,
right.
Did anybody else Jack, did that remind you of any other scene that we've seen over like the last couple seasons or something like that?
Oh, I was at that game.
Wait, do we want to bring him up anyway?
No, we don't. I was at that game.
But do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
Did that spark in your mind like that? That was such an awesome moment. But I'm talking about Justin Fields and the whole team.
I was just going to say, can you say the name and then we debate something about him?
Which is hilarious. We had our great debate, and then apparently, I guess Twitter had they were going nuts because people were bringing it up again about him balling out in Pittsburgh. And I was like, what the fuck did we start?
It's something in the air, bro.
Something by the air. Yeah, Justin's always going to reoccur.
I was at that game. That game was fantastic, and that last
awesome
slide at the end was was
It's
awesome.
literally the
But yeah,
same thing.
It is,
Like
100%.
one was on a slip and slide and one was the NFL field. But like that totally, when they even showed it twice, and like he
Exact
tried to
same
stand
thing.
up, and his leg, man, I was like, that would
Yeah.
have killed me.
Or he was sliding a little bit too much. He tried to stop.
That's what I'm saying.
Jack.
It was like, all right, we're
good.
and then the last thing I had was, I'm glad there's no way that Michael Jordan comparison will ever bite us in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
really glad that'll never be
Yeah.
brought up.
Okay.
Ever.
If this
I heard
doesn't
people
work out,
are-
that's on repeat, bro.
Dude,
I mean, it
on
was
my
the
Twitter,
first episode of
people-
Hard Knocks, and we're comparing him to Michael Jordan. It was again. I'm glad it won't ever come up.
People in the comments on my Twitter are arguing actually right now as we speak. Like one person's like, "How dare you bring up Michael Jordan when he hasn't played a snap?" And then this guy is going back and forth with it. They're just arguing.
To be fair, Michael Jordan never played a snap either. So,
But hey, like Nick Saban said, expectations, you got to handle those, right? You got to make sure this kid's going to be all right. It's going to be high expectations, but
I'm
Flus has
sure
got
Flus
this under
isn't
control.
saying, "Hey, Michael Jordan Jr." Like, I'm sure the expectations are good within the. What if that was, Flus gives out tons of nicknames except to Rome because his name's already fire.
Yeah.
What if he's like that? We find out it's Michael Jordan Jr. or some shit like that. Talk about expectations.
Another worst part that we could have done, Ficky, Jack, I don't know if we threw this up here. I'm sure we did, but I wish we saw the Bears locker room post DJ contract signing because DJ talked about in his press conference the day after about how lit it was, and he couldn't even go in. And he did say like, "Oh, I can't even go into like what it was," but
they're not posting.
He kind of, yeah. But that would have been cool to see. That's the type of details I need here. Okay, I need details. Let's go more.
Yeah, that stuff's never coming out. They're not trying to get incriminated off of Hard Knocks. So,
yeah.
Bears lose 7
There's
players.
no more HR issues, right? No more
Right,
HR.
right.
That's
Knock on wood.
2023 shit.
Hey, we still got 4 more plus episodes of Hard Knocks, so don't speak too early. Who knows what could happen?
I agree. Well, hey, appreciate you sharing, Jack. We need to get you on earlier. Shout out to him behind the scenes. He's just rocking the sticks.
That's what I do. A lot of clicking.
Oh, we appreciate it. We'll get you on earlier for next episode. And but shout out to you. Again, we'll be recapping next week's episode, same time, I think 9:00. And then we will be back this Saturday as well.
Bills,
Bears
baby.
preseason. Bears, Bills. Caleb's gonna dot them up for a quarter, hopefully. We'll be back right after the game to recap it. Shout out to you guys. Before we go, anything else, boys?
Good show.
Go Bears. Yeah, good stuff. Good show. Argue? No.
It's a great show.
Absolutely not. No, I'm
I
good.
loved it, dude. But it is
I feel like
crazy.
Justin Fields is still
Okay.
not as close as
let's-
Caleb Williams in potential.
Let's relax.
That's just my thoughts.
I'm actually excited to watch him play, but no, for real though, a really great episode. We appreciate everyone that tuned in, all the new faces. If you're watching after, not during the live show, we appreciate you too. We'll be back this Saturday, hopefully recapping another Bears preseason win.
Hell yeah, stay undefeated. Peace.